Here we go. Welcome into the show. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and we're talking Niners every single day right here on the show. Coming up over the next several minutes, the Niners have made a couple of roster moves during Week 2 of Niners OTAs. Let's begin here, though. The NFC West is going to be one of the more fascinating divisions in all of football this upcoming year. And if you hate all of these teams here to my right, outside of the Niners, of course, I want you to type SF down in the comment section. That's the Seattle Seahawks, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Niners are coming back for that NFC West championship belt here in 2025. So the first roster move that is official for San Francisco, the Bryce Huff trade, is officially official after he passed his physical with San Francisco. Of course, it took a couple of days for us to find out the compensation for that trade. It's going to be a 5th-round pick, which can become a 4th for Philadelphia, depending on how much Huff plays and how well he plays. And then, of course, that deal was not going to be official until he passed his physical. Today, he did that with the Niners staff. And Huff in 2023 with Robert Saleh in less than 50% of the snaps was one of the more productive pass rushers in all of football. And there's a theme here. The last couple of years, he's been one of the most productive players as far as getting after the quarterback in the National Football League. When Saleh was the head coach for the Jets and Huff broke out in 2023, he ranked 33rd among 197 edge rushers with an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 79.7. His pass rush grade of 86.8, elite, that ranked 11th among 197 edge defenders. He's never been a great run defender. I wouldn't worry too much about that because the Niners are bringing him in as a pass rush specialist, and last year he did improve in stopping the run with Philadelphia. He had double-digit sacks in 2023, 10 of them to be precise. That was 22nd at the position. Really like the pressure number, 67, that ranking 15th in 2023. And Saleh used him on the left side, used him on the right side, and he used him as a closer. Saleh compared him to Mariano Rivera, the best closer in the history of Major League Baseball, because of Huff's ability late in games to close games by collapsing the pocket and putting pressure on the opposing thrower. And in 2024, his numbers were down. He wasn't a scheme fit for Philadelphia, but he still ranked out pretty well in some numbers here that are pretty intriguing. He ranked 10th in pass rush win rate at 24% on true pass sets. That was above Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter of the Houston Texans, 2 premier edge rushers in the NFL, as well as former Niner Eric Armstead. 94% of the time, the Eagles used him on the left side as a stand-up pass rusher. Huff, he can be his Bugatti Ferrari self when he's playing in a 4-3, not a 3-4, when he can be used on both sides, when his hand is in the dirt. That allows him to get off to an explosive start out of his stance. And so Saleh is going to use him in a versatile way with San Francisco. Vic Fangio was talking today, and he said, look, because of his injury, other players playing well, that's why it didn't work out. Fangio said, I think that he can be successful with the Niners. And then back to his connection with Saleh. In 2023, he was 7th in pass rush productivity. That was more efficient per snap than Nick Bosa, Trey Hendrickson, and Max Crosby, and he was 3rd in pass rush win rate at 22.9%. Great compliment for Nick Bosa. When you want to use your NASCAR package, you bring him into the game at defensive end, you put Mykel Williams at defensive tackle, and I just think that familiarity with Saleh is going to really do wonders in getting Bryce Huff back on track. We're also not talking about a guy who's old. He's 27 years old. And so the Niners checked off a huge need as they needed an edge rusher, they needed a pass rush specialist, and they're paying him under $8 million. And how about these numbers from Next Gen Stats? Highest quarterback pressure rates, minimum of 500 pass rush snaps since 2022. Micah Parsons, number 1, at 20 flat. Bryce Huff right behind him at 19.9%. That's also ahead of Trey Hendrickson and ahead of Myles Garrett, who won Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. And so you look at this Niners defensive line now. I still think 3 rookies can start along that defensive front. Mykel Williams, C.J. West, Alfred Collins, Nick Bosa. I think that the players added, it's going to help him because he's not going to be chipped as much, double-teamed as much. And then Huff will be that backup. And then Huff as a backup makes your depth better with Sam Okuanu and Yetur Gross-Matos. And now I would say that Robert Beal is firmly on that roster bubble. Roster move number 2 for the Niners here today on this Tuesday, June 3rd. They have signed wide receiver Malik Knowles. He's played a little bit with the Minnesota Vikings, hopped around on a couple of practice squads. We'll see if he can compete for a spot on the 53. I don't think so. I think he's more of a training camp body as part of the 90-man. But the Niners signing him today to a 1-year deal. They have also waived offensive lineman Nicholas Petit-Frere, former third-round pick by the Titans out of Ohio State. And they have placed wide receiver Trent Taylor on the injured reserve list. That means that Taylor is going to be out for the entire 2025 campaign. Knowles is 6'2", 196. So he has some pretty good size to him. Good player at Kansas State. Originally entered the NFL after signing with the Vikings as an undrafted free agent after the draft in 2023. He spent time with the Vikings and then with the Green Bay Packers as well last year. He's 24 years old. He's from Mansfield, Texas. Went to Kansas State from 2018 through 2022, where he appeared in 51 games, 39 starts. He totaled 127 catches for nearly 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns through the air. But this is pretty interesting here. 36 carries for 440 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. And so I'm not calling him Deebo Samuel by any means, but he could carry the ball at least a little bit like Deebo Samuel. Definitely some questions at this wide receiver position going into 2025. We're not sure when Brandon Aiyuk is going to come back. More on him in just a moment. Ricky Pearsall injured his hamstring again. And so Jawan Jennings right now, bona fide wide receiver 1 with Aiyuk and Pearsall out. Demarcus Robinson is a really good 3rd or 4th option, but he probably elevates to wide receiver 2 right now. Jordan Watkins has been impressing a lot of people. John Lynch very impressed. So too is Brock Purdy with what Jacob Cowing has been able to do this offseason. Tariq Owens, the son of Terrell Owens, going to be battling for a roster spot. And then Isaiah Neyor, the freakishly athletic UDFA out of Nebraska, Texas, and Wyoming, 3 different stops in college, was really turning some heads during rookie minicamp with the size, the length, and the explosiveness to his game. He's 220 pounds, and he runs a 4.4 flat, 40-yard dash. As for Brandon Aiyuk, we have a Brandon Aiyuk, Terrell Owens connection. So Aiyuk posted this photo of Terrell Owens on his Instagram story. And I think this is significant because of what this photo meant back in the day. For those of you who don't know this story, after T.O. left the Niners, played with the Eagles in 2004, terrific season. Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. T.O. came back from a broken ankle, had a couple of screws in his ankle, and had more than 100 receiving yards in Super Bowl 39 against the New England Patriots. Going into 2005, he wanted a new contract. He was butting heads with Joe Banner and Andy Reid. Joe Banner, the GM, Andy Reid, the head coach. During training camp in August of 2005, T.O. and Andy Reid got into an argument. Andy Reid suspended Terrell Owens during this contract dispute. There was a lot of bad blood with Donovan McNabb as well. So the same day that T.O. got suspended from training camp in Lehigh, Pennsylvania, he drove to his house in New Jersey where he started doing sit-ups in his driveway shirtless while answering questions from some media members. Answering a lot of them by saying no comment, but with his 8-pack abs, he was showing off a little bit, flexing the great physique. Gotta say it because it's true. And this was made famous back in the day, pretty much went viral in an era when viral things and virality wasn't a thing because social media wasn't a thing. But on TV, this was the talk of the sports landscape. On SportsCenter back when it was good and when ESPN was actually good. And this was a huge deal at the time. His agent, Drew Rosenhaus, was in the driveway. He was taking some questions during this workout in his driveway as well, which obviously was calculated. T.O. was trying to stir up some drama. And I don't care what way you slice it up. And I don't care what Brandon Aiyuk says. Brandon Aiyuk is stirring some type of drama and controversy by posting this because this is full of negativity and T.O. at that point being a me guy, bringing attention onto himself. This was about a contract dispute. He wasn't happy with the team. There's been a lot of chatter about BA not being happy with the 49ers. And my response to that, bro, you're making $30 million per year. You're coming off a season in which you came into the year out of shape after your hold-in, hold-out. You had bad body language. You started stripping on the practice field because you were wearing the wrong shorts. You tore up your knee. You got $30 million per year, all this guaranteed money. You turned down trades to go elsewhere, and you're unhappy with the San Francisco 49ers? Brandon Aiyuk has gone from being one of my favorite Niners to a player who I'm just so sick and tired of at this point. As a follow-up to this, he posts this on Instagram. Y'all crybaby-ass divas be killing the vibes on Instagram. Shaking my head. It's got to be an age limit on hating. If you're 30 or older, just post your kids and STFU, standing for shut the F up. What has happened to Brandon Aiyuk? And how has he turned into this type of guy? It's a shame because he's played the game the right way. He got better every year. He was beloved in that locker room. And now he's just a me guy who posts all these cryptic things on social media to get a bunch of people fired up. But clearly Brandon Aiyuk is not happy in some way, shape, or form. As for Nicholas Petit-Frere, Niners letting him go, and they ended up not signing DJ Humphries. So what this means is Andre Dillard and Austin Pleasance will be battling to be the backup tackles behind Trent Williams and Colton McKivitz. Nicholas Petit-Frere, former third-round pick out of Ohio State, and he has been horrific in his NFL career. So bad that the Tennessee Titans said, we don't want anything to do with you. You're out of here. His overall PFF grade last year was 46.5. His pass blocking grade, 42.8. Run blocking grade, 55.9. All of those numbers among some of the lowest figures for all offensive tackles in football last year. He also gave up 41 pressures. He gave up 10 sacks. He had 10 penalties. Those numbers, all among some of the lowest numbers for offensive tackles last year. And I was watching Larry Krueger on the Krug Show, friend of the program. I obviously join Larry every single week. And he said Nicholas Petit-Frere was looking very slow last week at Niners OTAs. Niners obviously saw that, and they are moving on. As for Trent Sherfield, he was never going to make the 53. Last year during preseason, I thought it was a really rocky showing for him. The former Niners draft pick came back and dropped some passes in the preseason, wasn't able to solidify himself as a punt returner. Jacob Cowing beating him out in that role. And so I would imagine this spells the end for Trent Taylor with San Francisco. Not going to be able to play for all of 2025 unless he gets let go and he can be signed by another team. These Niner shirts, thanks to our friends at Fanatics, they're on sale, limited time only, so get yours today. They were $40, on sale for just $28. Not often you see a Nike shirt discounted that low. All you have to do, use that link down below, chatsports.com/sfshirt. You use that link, it'll take you to Fanatics. Fanatics will know that I sent you.